Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so I got a little bit of an understanding of what Charlotte is potentially thinking in regards to possibly acquiring Russell Westbrook, and the return that we would have to get seems pretty good, which scares me a bit in terms of what we would have to attach to make it incentivized and whether or not we would actually be able to get it done. I think at the end of the day, when you consider what Russell Westbrook's style of play, ideal style of play is, you could definitely see Charlotte being one of the places in this league where he could slot in and be pretty good. And when you consider how difficult it is for them to attract talent, you consider the cap situation that they have going on, which I was able to check out and see. What they have going on is now they're trying to figure out a way to keep Miles Bridges and LaMelo Ball. They know they're going to have to give LaMelo Ball top dollar, and they know that Miles Bridges is now officially on the map as somebody who's going to be an all-star at some point if he continues playing the way he did this season. So Mike is in a bit of a log jam as it pertains to his situation because he wants to build going forward around LaMelo. And there's no way in hell he's letting that kid go under any circumstance whatsoever. And I think one of the most important pieces to keeping LaMelo is keeping that high fly act Miles Bridges, who's obviously ascended greatly over the last year. So that's the core. They want to keep those two together. I think PJ Washington's probably already on contract, if I'm not mistaken. And they have that Gordon Hayward contract that they could really use cap relief for, which is what this trade would be centered around. But they would also have to incorporate some more salary in order to make it happen. And we have Kelly Oubre and Terry Rozier's contract that we would be able to choose from in theory for salary matchup sake. So at this point, I'm wondering if that's going to be something that MJ would be willing to do, Mitch would be willing to do. Because I now understand the incentivized need for clearing up that $47 million at the end of next season. That's something they actually want, dare I say, could really, really use, dare I say need. So it's kind of a perfect storm, especially since we have Mitch there. He's our old GM, obviously. And I think that kind of lends itself to it being a good situation. And also, it's been reported that the Lakers are going to be revisiting the Rockets and John Wall swap, which I am totally against. I just would prefer not to take on the same salary. I think the whole point of getting rid of Russell Westbrook is to try to clear ourselves of that cap space, or at least turn that cap space into multiple players, which is definitely something Charlotte can help us with. So unless the Rockets are going to come up off of their asking price, which is ridiculous, being that they want us to throw in a pick for a swap. I would imagine that we're going to go with Charlotte if that's going to be on the table in the offseason. So, yeah, that's what's going on, man. Now, for myself, who would I rather have between Terry Rozier and Kelly Oubre? Well, to be honest with you, I don't think it matters. Either one of them, for me, I value similarly based on what it is the needs of the Lakers are. You could definitely see yourself needing Terry Rozier as a closer and as a clutch, basic killer, which is what we need. Somebody who can close games, somebody who LeBron James can get the last shot to, and for a fact he's got ice in his veins. Terry Rozier is one of the best in the league at that, and I would be simply ecstatic to acquire him, independent of anything having to do with Russell Westbrook. Us getting Terry Rozier is a great start to helping ourselves, to say the absolute least. He's a killer, man. He's a killer, and he's exactly what the Lakers would love to have going forward. No matter what we're building, you want somebody like that to be able to shoot people down. And in a tough Western Conference, I can't think of too many better pieces to add to our situation. So Terry Rowe, that's a no-brainer. And then I look at Kelly Oubre, and I feel the same way because we need so much help on the wing, and with the speed and athleticism that he can provide, coupled with his continued ascension into into a different level of stardom, I guess you could say. I'm not saying he's a star, but he's getting there. Basically, he's getting there. If he continues to get better, he can make an all-star team someday, I believe. It's tough though, because he's gonna be labeled a role player with the footwork he's already done in this league. But I like the progression he's had over the years. I do remember how fantastic he looked in a Suns uniform in the brief time that he was there. I don't know why they didn't keep him, but all in all, that's somebody I think would be a great time to get him. He's sharpening into the beginning of his real prime. I think he's stepping into his own. I wouldn't be so quick to get rid of him if I'm Charlotte, because what they have going on that makes them so special is the fact that they have so many players that can jump and leap and all of that. So for me, if I'm Charlotte, I'm probably more likely to be willing to let go of Terry Rozier, given the fact that they have so many guards already in place. They got Book Knight there, who's only going to get better. That kid is special and is just kind of stuck behind Melo and Terry, and that's why you don't really see him as much, but he's very special. And I think he would be a good investment to keep at a lower price than Terry Rozier going forward for the Charlotte Hornets in their timeline. Even though Terry Rozier is excellent for keeping you in the playoffs, I think they would be taking a great deal of steps back in terms of their shooting next year, because they're giving us fantastic shooting if they let go of Terry Rozier and Gordon Hayward. But I don't think they'll miss Gordon Hayward at all, given the fact that they can use that salary and they have players to play his position. He's just kind of complimentary, as I expected he would be when they signed him to this big contract. I thought it was a bit questionable when they did it, but they were trying to outbid the Celtics, and they were looking to get a star to try to add to Melo, and they weren't really sure how quickly Melo was going to take on to being the number one guy on that team. And he kept them afloat. I think even though he had some injury issues, obviously, as he always does, he played some good games for the Charlotte Hornets in these last couple seasons, and adds to their depth quite a bit. So I would be happy to add him just off the strength, and I'm a fan of his. I've been a fan of his the whole time, ever since he was in Baylor. Ever since he was in college, I was a fan of Gordon Hayward's. And from there, going into Utah, he just continued to ascend into one of the best players at his position until that injury just took over with the Celtics. And he's never really been able to shake those injuries off. It's just been one after another ever since. So you have to temper your expectations as it pertains to what he can do at this stage in his career. But he's still an expert star-level talent who, if left open, is completely and utterly deadly. And if it's conditioned properly, would be one of the best players on your team. He's already proven that. And the thing I like about Gordon Hayward is he's very, very athletic naturally. So you don't really have to worry about whether or not Father Time is going to treat him gracefully as he comes down. Because what I think is going to happen is he's going to be serviceable in so many different ways offensively that help the team, because his game is fluent. He's an excellent shooter. He's a very, very good finisher. He passes extremely well. He has a good knack for the ball, so even as he starts to slow down, he'll still be able to finish. He's excellent at the line and things of that nature. So I'm pretty excited about bringing in Gordon Hayward as he starts to wind down, because I still think he's going to be an expert player to have on your bench, or for us, a starter for sure. But I'm saying as we continue to go forward, he can kind of fall back and help guys like Austin Reeves and whoever else will be here. If we have to let go of Malik Monk, he'll be somebody who can give us basically that same production at the very least. Because to be honest with you, as good as Malik is, he's not as talented as Gordon Hayward. And, that would be an upgrade for us if Gordon Hayward were 100% healthy. I think that, even though I'm super high on Malik Monk and definitely do not want to let him go. But I don't think he's ascended quite to where Gordon Hayward is yet. And I don't know that he'll get there, because Gordon is mighty talented, just naturally. So that's the truth about things. I think at the end of the day, you don't want to bring on that salary. Gordon Hayward's contract isn't favorable. But given the fact that we're dealing with Russell Westbrook, and we've had so many issues with that contract coupled with his style of play, bringing in Gordon Hayward and or a combination of Terry Rozier and Kelly Oubre, I think is an upgrade just for our style of play and just improving our overall depth, obviously. So I'm excited. I'm excited. I didn't think it would be possible for us to land those type of players. I still am skeptical that Michael will find a way to facilitate that salary to us another way than to give us such valuable and key components um, to what it is that he has going on. Now, obviously, if he's letting them go, he's letting them go. But I don't know. I'm just a weird kind of GM. If I were a GM, I'm a weird guy. I'm not gonna let the Lakers take back that type of talent, giving me Westbrook. We're gonna figure out a way to, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just how I would negotiate. Um, but if there's nothing else you can do, if you can't incorporate another third team, then it's just gonna be salary for salary. And respectfully speaking, in regards to Russell Westbrook, Mike is just going to have to take the hit on the talent, because I definitely think we'd be winning the trade there. There's no question about that. But Russell Westbrook goes to him a better player than he's leaving us. Why? Style of play, for one. There ain't going to be no pressure and all that extras that come with him being a Laker, so he'll just play better because he'll be settling into a situation that's much more comfortable for him. And he has him expiring. So it's not like if it fails, it's going to be hard for him to get rid of. So it's a lot of good there. He's worked out a lot of the issues that he had this season. He's gotten better at some of the things that he was absolutely terrible at because he was forced to, having so many repetitive times of being in awkward spaces, being in the half court, stuff like that. He's going to help Charlotte in ways that he wasn't able to help us just because of the strengths of their team. Assuming they keep some of the players they got, it's going to be a much better fit for him, even if he has to play a bench role, which I know he's going to have to do there. I don't like it for shooting, though. I don't like it. I'm telling you, Charlotte's taking some steps backwards on the court. But if it helps them keep LaMelo Ball for the long term, then it's definitely something they should be willing to do right away. No question about it. It seems like LaMelo is comfortable in Charlotte. Very comfortable. You know, for somebody who could probably get a $180 million contract anywhere, he doesn't seem like he's too interested in moving on. He looks like Charlotte's his own. It's his team. And I think Mike got lucky with that kid, man. LeVar put him in a position to be so uncomfortable in Greece and all those different situations. Till now, LaMelo doesn't really need a big market in theory to have a good time. You know what I mean? And that's, I think, the superpower of this young star is that he does have Laker-like stardom and charisma and clout, but he has a blue-collar maintenance need in terms of where he can play and where he can succeed. As long as Mike continues to put the type of talent around him that allow him to shine, I don't see why he can't have a player on his team for 15, 20 years. So I would do anything and everything, including acquiring Russell Westbrook's expiring contract, if it's going to help me keep that kid and his pieces around him, for sure. And just like I said, Charlotte is a win-win, because what you can do after that is Westbrook's expiring contract, you hold on to it and then re-sign him at a deal that makes sense to you. Now you have Russell Westbrook, a Michael Jordan client, because you know he's got the Michael Jordan logo on all his old stuff, so that puts him in a position to get that going. And it's just more talent for a place that it's very difficult to get that type of talent. It's very difficult to sit people in seats. Obviously, you got LaMelo, so that's the big asterisk there. But all in all, you secure yourself more Hall of Fame caliber talent that you can possibly keep in your franchise as Westbrook's career winds down. I don't think it's going to be too difficult for Russell Westbrook to get his numbers, even as he continues to wind down, because the Lakers situation was so unique. We weren't winning the center after the time. He was put in positions where the defense could zone in on him. Charlotte ain't going to put him in those situations at all. He's going to be on a much more fast-paced offense, probably with more players around him that should be able to catch lobs and kind of mask some of his mistakes. A lot of turnovers and stuff like that, I'd imagine, were a lot of jitters that had to do with being on the Laker floor. He ain't gonna have those issues in Charlotte. So, yeah, I think he comes to them a different player than he leaves us. I do believe that he'll be better there. So that's my little breakdown, I guess. I'm sure there are other angles that I could think about. Um, I'm wondering what the Lakers are gonna do. Obviously, if we could bring in Terry Rozier, that alone is a W for us. Gordon Hayward's just icing on the cake, even though his contract in theory is undesirable. I think he could be an excellent piece for us, and I don't think he's hard to flip. He's much easier to move if you have to move him. You know what I mean? Like, he's super talented, so there's no real system he can't fit it. That's the great thing about Gordon Hayward's game. Where doesn't he fit? Nowhere. It's not a single team. So I like the idea of being able to get him and then have to, you know, having the ability to trade him if I have to. So all of that works, man. All of that works. I hope we're able to pull it off. I hope Mitch and Mike are up for this. I hope they're up for it. I hope they don't get cold feet. I hope they see this as the path to keeping Melo, and if that's the case, we're in the catbird seat. Just don't get greedy. That's all. And I don't think the Lakers are. I think we're humble. I think we're in a situation where we're begging somebody to take this guy off of us. And if we can get somebody, I don't think we're going to play with that. I don't think we're going to do nothing stupid. I don't expect the Lakers team to be asking for LaMelo or nothing crazy like that. Just get Westbrook out of here, take back what they give you, and let's build forward. And by the way, AD, Bron, Gordon Hayward, Terry Rozier / Kelly Oubre, it ain't bad, man. Ain't bad. Ain't bad at all. Terry Rozier is a super upgrade from Russell Westbrook. Super upgrade. I'm telling y'all, I don't know Terry Rozier's defensive side of the ball, but I'd imagine he's pretty good. He seemed pretty feisty when I saw him. But man, can he kill. Oof. And the good thing about him is, as you can see in Charlotte, he's humble. He's always played off the bench. So if you need him to play off the bench, or if you happen to acquire somebody that you want to play in front of him, I'm pretty sure he'll be able to do that for you. I'm pretty sure. He's always done it. Although you're probably better if he starts, and he can play the 2 just fine. So that also works in our favor as well. It's a lot to like there, man. I like Charlotte's pieces. Like I said, I think LeBron James would be great in Charlotte, low-key, just off of their roster alone. That would be a fit for him. But I think it's a decent fit for Russell Westbrook if only he shot a little better. You know, I just... and defended for sure. But they don't necessarily have to have him up as a part of what they do. They just have to get him there and then have plans to get that 47 off of their books. For all I know, they just waive him, stretch it or whatever, however that works. Get it off of their books earlier than just letting it expire, and he might be a free agent going somewhere else. That's always a thing too. So, yeah, that's what it is, man. That's what I got to say, man. Super exciting times. Finally get some real chatter about possible moves. So, that's what I got. BDF44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.